In today's class, we will do
the midpoint theorem. The midpoint theorem is a very important concept where we apply the properties of triangle, and why it is called midpoint. You will understand that in a minute. So before we start, we have classes on maths and science. So you can subscribe and connect with us and take the benefit of the classes. So in the midpoint theorem, you have to understand that there is a concept for a triangle, any triangle. If I call this triangle ABC, in this triangle the theorem is a rule, and the theorem says the line joining the line which will join midpoints. There are two midpoints in this concept. If I take this triangle, if this is a midpoint, midpoint means midpoint of this line. So if this is the midpoint, then this length will be equal to this length. It means AP and PB are equal. The line joining midpoints of two sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side. Now we are talking about two sides. First point is this midpoint. Second is midpoint of this side. AB has a midpoint, let's say Q. If this is midpoint, then the length AQ is equal to QC. In this, AP is equal to PB. So the line joining midpoints. So two conditions. Any line which will connect this midpoint to this midpoint is parallel to the third side. So this is first side, second side, and this is the third side. So this line will be parallel to this side. This is the theorem. It is parallel to the third side and is half of it. It means if I write the property of this triangle, if P and Q are midpoints in this figure, then I can say PQ is parallel to BC. So this line will be parallel to BC, and also the line will be half of it. So we can say that PQ will be half of BC. This is the theorem. So you have to apply the midpoint theorem, and midpoint is called midpoint theorem because there are two midpoints of the two sides of a triangle. It can be any two sides. So two sides are there, and then there is a third side. So PQ will become parallel and half. Two things will happen. The line will be parallel and the line will be half. So PQ will become parallel to this. And the same theorem has got a converse also. Converse means the reverse of this theorem. The reverse of the theorem will be, now it is not necessary that every time you will have two midpoints. The converse of the theorem says that this statement is changed. In this, the parallel line is given. So the theorem is a parallel line through a parallel line. In the previous main theorem, we proved line parallel. In the converse, which is the reverse of the theorem, a parallel line is given. If there is a parallel line which is starting through midpoint of one side. So here, if I take figure is same, if only P is the midpoint. So in this case, the figure will be like this. A triangle is there and only triangle is ABC. In this triangle, if P is the midpoint and P midpoint means this length is equal to this length. So here this is not midpoint, but this line is given parallel to this. A parallel line through midpoint of one side of triangle bisects the other side. This is the theorem. This line will meet Q, which will also be the midpoint. So in the previous one, these things were given. In this case, I will write that if PQ is parallel to BC and P is midpoint, this is two things given, then Q is also midpoint. Q will also become midpoint. This is the converse of the theorem. So when you are solving this concept, then you have to apply these two theorems. In some questions you have to apply theorem midpoint. In some questions you have to apply theorem on the converse side, opposite of the theorem. And the same, the midpoint is having another form which is called the intercept. In that case, the concept is that if there is no triangle given, but the concept is this, that if there is two lines are given and first line, if I say AB, this line and this line is cut by one line and second line and third line. If AB, CD here. Now same theorem, but in this there is no triangle. This is applied when there are parallel lines. So if there are two lines or three lines or more lines, and it says if a transversal makes equal intercept. Now here there is a concept that this line, second line and third line are cut by a transversal here and cut by a transversal here. So it says that if this part between the two parallel lines is called the intercept, and this is another intercept. So if these two intercepts are equal, then these two will also be equal. So the theorem is, if a transversal makes equal intercept on, if this transversal makes equal intercept, this intercept is equal to this intercept. So the simple concept is that these two, if they are equal and the two lines are parallel, then this part will also be equal. It can also be said if this ratio is 1:2, then this ratio will also be 1:2. So it will prove that this length is also equal to this length. If a transversal makes equal intercept on one transversal, on three lines. It will make equal intercept on the other transversal also. That is the on the second transversal also. This is the theorem. Now we will use the theorem and understand that what is the concept, and there are some questions of solving which are given in every book, whether it is CBSE or icse. So let's see what is the concept here, and the concept is there is a figure given below, and in this there is a triangle given. If there is a triangle given and it is given A, B, C, and it says that there is midpoint. There are some points given D, E, and F. And this question is normally given in most of the books, and it says in the figure 1, D, there is a triangle, D, E, F are midpoints. So if D is the midpoint, then this length will be equal to this length. E is the midpoint, it means this length is equal to this length. This part will be equal to this part. This part will be equal to this part. And F is also midpoint, so all the three parts are equal. So I have made a single line, means AE, EC. They are equal, and it is given, there are some lengths given in the question. It says if AB is equal to 6, BC is equal to 4.8, and CA is equal to 5.6. These are three lengths given. Find what is the perimeter. So if this length is 6, F is the midpoint. If F is the midpoint, then this length will become 3, because AB is equal to 6 and BC is equal to 4.8. So this should be 2.4 and 2.4, because D is midpoint. CA is 5.6. So since the total length is 5.6, what will be the length of CE? Half of this. So 2.8 and 2.8. These are the lengths. So 2.4, 2.4, 2.8, 2.8, 3 and 3. These are the lengths. And they are connected by lines. Find the perimeter of trapezium and the triangle. Now we will apply the midpoint theorem, and whenever you apply the theorem, you should say the line joining midpoints of opposite sides of triangle is parallel to third side and is half of it. So which theorem is being used here? In this case, the midpoints are given. F is a midpoint given, E is a midpoint, and D is a midpoint given. Since the midpoints are already given, therefore the converse, the line joining midpoint of opposite sides, is parallel to the third side. So we did this theorem. So we will apply this theorem, the line joining midpoint of two sides. So this line will be parallel and half of it. So it means in this question, who is half? So whenever we apply theorem, we have to see that our question matches with the theorem. So F, D, E are midpoints. So mention it. Therefore, FE is parallel to BC. This line will become parallel to this line. This line will become parallel to this line. So I can write that three things will happen. Now I am writing FE will become parallel to this. Is parallel. So FE parallel to BC. Second thing, DE is parallel to AB. So this length is parallel to this length. And TF is parallel to AC. Three things will happen. The line joining midpoint will be parallel and it is also half. Now second thing will be half. FE is parallel to BC and I can say FE is half of BC. Same thing will be parallel and same thing will be half. BF will be half of AC. Three things will occur. Now when this is half, it means this total length is how much? 4.8. So what is the length of FE? FE will become 2.4. Half of BC. BC is 4.8. This length DE, which is written DE, is parallel to so if you apply the theorem, then it says that DE will become parallel to AB. DE will become parallel to AB and D will be half of this. So this is 6. So this will become 3 and this length is 5.6. So this length will become half of 5.6. So 2.8. Now we can easily see that what is the perimeter of the triangle. So first answer we get perimeter of triangle DEF will be 3 plus 2.4 plus 2.8. Simple. We will add the three lengths, 3 plus and plus. So 3 plus 2.4 plus 2.8 will become the answer. This is the perimeter of triangle. And the question says find the perimeter of the trapezium also. So the trapezium is FBCE. This is the trapezium given. And you have to find what is the perimeter of this trapezium. So perimeter means 3 centimeter plus total 4.8 plus 2.8 and plus 2.4. The perimeter of FBCE will become 2.4 plus 3 plus 4.8 and 2.8. So this will give the answer and we have applied the midpoint theorem in this question. So I hope you have understood. If you have any query or doubt and you want clarification, type below this video. And if you want a particular explanation on any topic, then also you can type below this video. You will be resolved. Your problem will be resolved and stay connected for the next part of this class. See you in the next class. Goodbye and take care.